Big exciting news to start your evenings as all eyes are on Wall Street, Congress, the Federal Reserve, and the Speaker of the House's office. They're all saying stimulus is coming. It's absolutely coming. But before it comes, do we need to get a new hairdresser? There need to be a couple changes. But the incredible great news is that Mitch McConnell says that stimulus is coming. The Federal Reserve today at the FOMC meeting says stimulus is needed. The new jobs numbers is coming out tomorrow, and the Dow Jones is predicting that it suggests that we need stimulus right now. And the Temple Doom says she wants to negotiate stimulus. She just doesn't want to negotiate it with the person who will pass it. Hey, good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning, or good latte. This is Evenings LALATE. I'm so glad you're here, and it's been a great day, with a new show that debuted this morning, which was new time, Holidays LALATE, which, wow, you really loved it, and I loved recording it. So that's back tomorrow at 12 noon. And Being a Mitch had that blockbuster today, this afternoon, which I'll cover a little bit more in this recording. That debuted yesterday. So thank you for joining this channel. If you've not subscribed, please do. We're picking up on the subscribers once again, so it's exciting. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your cat, your llama, your dog, your alpaca to hit that subscribe button at the front of this channel so you get an alert when a new video goes live. It's important to make sure you hit that alert button so that you don't miss videos. People are always like, I missed that video. And I'm like, well, it is taped, so it's still there in case you missed it, but I don't want you to miss it when it's hitting because it's breaking details, as this video has breaking details as well. Also like this video so that the video appears higher in the rankings, and we've been doing really well, but we've been ranking great all day long. In this video, I have a lot of great details for you. The stimulus is coming. I mean, it's absolutely coming. It's going to have the details in it. What details it won't have in it, I'm going to go over in this video as well. We're going to be talking about money, routing times, all the good stuff to start your evening. It's sort of like a prime rib dinner without the au jus sauce on the side. What's the au jus sauce? It's the state and local. $950 billion of au jus. So that will not be in this video. I'll be going over what Jerome Powell said about stimulus, focusing on stimulus, and I'll be going over what Wall Street is saying about stimulus today. They're always right. And then finally, I'll be talking about her. Yeah, whatever her name is. Yeah, whatever your name is. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that tomorrow morning, we will see the new jobs number. Now, this is not the jobless number. The jobless number, it comes out every Thursday at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is the jobs number, which comes out once a month. And tomorrow's number will be the September number. What's important is that this number had the residue of first stimulus still in the economy to bolster the number. And yet, the pre-market predictors on the number from the Dow Jones suggest it won't be good, which tees up the need for second stimulus. They're saying as of September, new jobs numbers fell. These are new jobs created. And this is really important, and you've actually brought it up in the comments, is that the jobless number from every Thursday has been falling, the Dow Jones says, because people are switching from UI to PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, federal PUA, because they've used up their UI weeks. So this is really important as we go into stimulus tonight, because when we talk about stimulus tonight, it's important to understand that there's a couple things at issue. One is the amounts. The second one is the time frame of when they're retroactive to. But the big one is the period of eligibility, which I don't talk about a lot. So let me go over all those details right now, and let's hit it out of the ballpark, and let's have a lot of fun. First, when we talk about retroactive periods, we're talking about when does it go back and to when does it start at. We usually talk about that for FPUC. We went retroactive to late July. When we talk about stimulus checks, we don't talk about them retroactively, but we talk about them covering a certain period of time so that we understand, hey, you didn't give us stimulus checks since May, so I'm not gonna let you forget that. It's sort of like, it's that time you push me in the river. I'm not gonna let you forget that. That is the retroactiveness of it. Other provisions that have retroactiveness to them are usually like hazard pay that says, okay, we'll give you hourly rates of hazard pay back to January. That's a retroactiveness provision. Then when we talk about eligibility windows, that's the one that I cause the red flag on. I say, red flag, alarm sounding. That's because a lot of these stimulus packages are expiring in a few weeks. Yes, for the first stimulus package, yes. And that the second stimulus package, which isn't law yet, the way they wrote them are supposed to expire also in just a few weeks. How can you write a law for something that's about to expire? Exactly. So as you sit here today, there's a lot of stuff expiring right around the corner. And that is what I started this video with. UI. Some people are running out of UI weeks. Some people are running out of FPEUC, which was creating CARES Act 1, which gave you additional weeks of UI. I mean, how many videos did I do that? Where I said, you got this number of weeks, and they got another set of number of weeks, and they got another set of number of weeks. And I did those videos for just weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks until now we're almost out of weeks. FPUC, those additional weeks are running out. Not a good thing. PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, which a lot of you have jumped from UI to PUA because you ran out of UI. Those weeks are running out. It was only 33 something weeks on the CARES Act 1. So you have all these weeks running out. Hence the jobs numbers tomorrow is going to be literally an alarm to say, listen, people are not only not getting FPUC, which goes on top of UI and PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, but they're now about to start to run out of unemployment weeks completely. So forget about $600 on top of your $300 a week. You're not even getting the $300 a week in a few days. That's the big sounding alarm. And with that, it signals in stimulus checks. The comments on the channel have been really great over the last 24 hours, where people are just absolutely ecstatic. Some people said, I'm not a fan of Mitch McConnell's. I don't think he has fans, except maybe lobsters. But they said, I'm not a fan of him, but I love those comments he made. What happened to him? He won an election and he has like a new, he's like a new person. I'm like, yeah, he has his salary committed for the next 4 years, so he's really good. So now he can spend money on you. And I'm actually not joking. I really just do think that is what's going on. So Mitch McConnell wants the stimulus to go out, but some of the people were very correct in those comments that Mitch McConnell has written 3 versions of stimulus relief, and he has never given you stimulus checks in any of the versions. So you have to be on high alert for what Mitch says and what he actually does. He has said he would put stimulus checks and things, and then they're not in there. He said he would do the problem solvers bill, and then he doesn't do the problem solvers bill. There is a lot of, starting somewhere, and then suddenly someone gets to him. Now, there's a lot of things at play, which I'm not really going to go on in this broadcast, but Mitch was pandering to a bunch of 20 Republicans who are very, very conservative that don't want to give stimulus in the last few months. Some of those have lost their seats, so they're gone. And then others have retired. Some are at the casino and not coming back, apparently. So his mindset is a little bit different, and it's absolutely incredible, great news. So your old multiple stimulus checks, and what I want you to understand, and this is so categorically important, is that the blueprint is now brand new. The notepad, the binder is now empty. We're starting over. We're literally starting over. And so you need to be on social media and pushing for multiple stimulus checks, pushing for bigger stimulus checks. And someone asked me a really great question, which shows me I left something out. They say, LALATE, who should I be tagging? I usually would tag Mnuchin and Meadows of the president. Who should I be tagging? Good point. You should not be tagging the president, Mnuchin and Meadows, because I don't think they're going to be helping you right now. They're worried about lawsuits in Georgia and Pennsylvania. I think you need to be tagging all your Republican senators that you have in your state. And if you don't have any senators, well, everyone has a senator. If you don't have Republican senators, because all your senators are Democratic, then find some other Republican senators to tag. It's those that you really want to tap into. You want them to get the message out very loud and clear. Those Republican senators, I need stimulus checks. It can't be $1,200. It needs to be multiple stimulus checks. It needs to be more robust. It can't be $1,200. And you need to get that message out right now so that ultimately when Mitch starts to write, and remember, Mitch writes very quickly. Mitch will leave you on a Friday and be back Monday with 3,000 pages written. I don't know how he does it, but you don't let that guy with those eyeglasses trick you. He can write like nobody's business. He'll be back on Monday, and not this Monday, but just in general. And you got to get to him before he starts writing. You have to get to Mitch and his group before they start writing and get that message out. Big stimulus checks. Then the FPUC. Now that we understand it needs to be retroactive to late July, and we understand all this stuff has to carry into, middle of next year, that everything that's expiring needs to be continued. FPUC. Did I just say that wrong? Just say that wrong? FPEUC. I think I said it wrong. And PUA. All those things have to be extended into next year. They're running out. You have to extend them. You have to get that to Mitch, because ultimately those deal provisions are very important. They're almost more important than sitting back and hearing from Nancy that she only wants $600 a week. She's not going to get $600 a week, and Mitch is not going to get $300 a week. It's going to be likely around $400. So you need to get that narrative on social media. Hashtag Purple Power FPUC. Hashtag MSC. You need to get that message out really loud and clear. Then the other items I want to go over with you are the other items that I've covered on this channel and that you may be questioning where they are and what's happening to them. First, state and local, what would happen with that? Mitch says he will do state and local, but it'll likely be tied to grants for public servants like police, fire, rescue, things like that. So you could get a grant if you're in that type of discipline. Next, the EIDL grant and the EIDL loan. Boy, I don't know. That is really an open field. I assume he would give that to you, but you need to hit that really hard. And the most obvious question I have not gotten yet, but I expect it to come very soon, so I'm going to answer it right now. Is Javita Carranza going away? And are you replacing him? Her. No, I am not replacing Javita Carranza. So, if you call up Joe and say, hey, Joe, can you have the purple guy replace Javita? He wears the scarves a little bit better than her. And, he doesn't move the goalpost. And he always says a bombshell at the 10-minute mark. No, I am not replacing Javita Carranza. But she may likely be gone. And if that means she's gone, you could be owed retroactive benefits. Yes. If you didn't get the remainder of the $10,000 grant, that could be coming to you. If you were qualifying for higher EIDL loans, that could be coming from you, all under CARES Act 1. But when we talk about CARES Act 2, there is EIDL grants, free money in the second stimulus package. So you have to hope that Mitch keeps that in there, keeps the EIDL loans in there. I don't see that he would take it out. That's not his style. He likes stuff for businesses or small independent contractors. He likes that type of stuff. PPP would likely stay in there. And then we have all the other things. The CDC grant, I don't know how big it is, but he may narrowly tailor, bring it in tighter, that he doesn't want it to balloon to an enormous amount. Rent aid, you're going to get rent aid, absolutely, but he would narrowly tailor it. So you're not going to get, $35,000 in rent aid. Absolutely not. He's not going to do that for you. He may give you $2,000, $3,000 or $4,000 for rent aid. Then for food, he will include that as well, and money for children. So that's all really incredible, great news. And it's important to get this message out. Oh, and then there's hazard pay. So then hazard pay, boy, as I've been saying in this video, and I've been saying all day long, and I'll probably say it again tomorrow, is I don't see Mitch giving you anything that's 5 figures. So the Lifeline grant that's $50,000, not happening. Hazard pay, $10,000. I don't think it's happening at $10,000. At $10,000, at $5,000, sure. At $4,000, sure. But $10,000, no. I just don't see that happening. And the way it was written It was so broad, just trillions of Americans could qualify for $10,000. And at that calculation, that's exactly what Mitch does not want. And so with that, what's important to understand is that the Federal Reserve spoke today. And the Federal Reserve said, you know what? I see we have an issue with prices going up, and we're not going to change the interest rate. We're going to keep it 0 to 0.25. We can keep it really flat, basically almost 0, because we want to make sure that your price of goods, your milk, your eggs, all that stays flat. We don't want inflation. But more importantly, what he said was, I want to ensure that there is stimulus coming because the economic activity is flat. We have not rebounded to pre-pandemic levels, he said, which is sort of obvious. But he says we're not on a trajectory to go to pre-pandemic levels, says Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Chair. So the economic activity and employment have continued to recover, but remain well below their levels at the beginning of the year. He says, we're just well below where we were before. That's quite interesting statement, because we have seen in the last week some numbers that suggest maybe we're back to normal. No, he says we're way below where we were before. And that's why he's saying stimulus is needed. He says that September's economic activity picked up a little bit, thank you, but not that much. And then he said that the Federal Reserve has a lot of things, a lot of ammunition to do to step in and fix this economy. Is monetary policy out of power or out of ammunition? The answer is no, I don't think that. I think we're strong enough committed to use these powerful tools that we have to support the economy during this difficult time for as long as needed, and no one should have any doubt about it. He said this at the FOMC meeting today. He'll speak again tomorrow, so I'll have more updates for that as well. But he says that there will be no rate increase hikes until inflation was comfortably above the 2% target, meaning that he thinks that stimulus is needed right now. He thinks that the economy is not growing enough right now. And that ultimately, when you see that, come back and check in with me. But that's just not now. Next, Step of Doom, under fire. Progressives, which is a section of the Democratic Party that include AOC and some Democrats out of New York and New Jersey, are potentially or allegedly asking for her ouster. Let me explain what this means. To become Speaker of the House, you aren't voted by the American people. You first are elected as a member of the House, and then the members of the House vote on the potential speaker candidates. So you raise your hand and say, I want to be Speaker of the House. Okay, anyone else want to be Speaker of the House? I would be Speaker of the House. Generally, there's 2 to 3 candidates at most that run for the position. Sometimes no one wants to run at all for the position. They just don't want the job. And so Nancy Pelosi is, of course, running for re-election of the speakership position, but a series of news articles say that she is under fire and may face an opponent who may try to unseat her. This would be a very big balance of power. Now, what's important to understand is that you need to be on social media and be tagging Democrats and say, don't support her. We don't know who is the candidate that's going to go against her. I detailed that on the Bean Mitch video that Hakeem's last name I forgot, out of, I believe it's New York, is a front runner, but he has not confirmed that. Ultimately, the campaign of this channel will heat up very quickly when we're closer to the subject. It's not here yet. It's a little bit premature. But there's talk that she could be pushed out. The reason why is the following. Us. It's just, it's sort of obvious. Seeds for Stimulus was a big hit. Seeds for Stimulus worked. Seeds for Stimulus, the Purple Power push, which I created. I created Seeds for Stimulus. I created Purple Power. It worked. You did an absolute winning home run job. You got Democrats and Republicans who were incumbents out because they did not give you stimulus. Boy, a lot of exciting news and a lot of twists and turns. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Coming up next is Purple. Don't miss that. I'll have breaking details as well in that video. And then join me for early mornings LA tomorrow morning. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.